We often describe ADHD as an epidemic of the modern age, a crisis of distraction, restlessness, and executive dysfunction. The strict medical definition of a disease requires a biological error. In this view, ADHD is a piece of neurological machinery that is broken or failing to perform its intended task. This view clashes with natural selection. Evolution is an efficient filter. It systematically removes genetic traits that offer no benefit and cause only harm. If the ADHD brain were a purely dysfunctional glitch, human evolution would have erased it from the gene pool tens of thousands of years ago. Instead, these traits have persisted globally across isolated cultures and thousands of years of human history. This graph illustrates the frequency of these traits within a population. Empirical data shows that ADHD traits consistently stabilize in 3 to 4. The persistence of this 4% suggests we are looking at a brain that is being judged in the wrong context. To understand why these traits survived, we have to look at the net balance, the calculation of whether the specific advantages of a trait outweigh the suffering it causes. Consider the high-risk environment of our hunter-gatherer ancestors. On the open savanna, survival depended on the constant detection of predators and rapid exploitation of resources. In this setting, restlessness and hypervigilance were not deficits, they were essential tools for group safety. This is the sentinel hypothesis. While most members of a tribe focused on long-term tasks, the group relied on individuals to constantly scan the horizon and to detect threats before they arrived. Mathematics explains the 4% frequency. A tribe where everyone is a sentinel has no one left to gather food and would starve, but a tribe with 0 sentinels is vulnerable to predators. 4% is the stable equilibrium, where the group gets the maximum protection without losing its ability to forage. In the ancestral environment, the net balance of these traits was overwhelmingly positive. It provided the tribe with life-saving machinery. That ancestral landscape has since been replaced by a modern world built on bureaucracy, sedentary schooling, and repetitive office work. Biologists call this evolutionary mismatch. These plots show the same genetic trait in 2 different environments. The biological makeup of the 4% remains the same, but the world around it has changed. In the ancestral environment, shown on the left, this profile sits in a zone of advantage, providing more benefit than harm. In the modern environment on the right, the demand for stationary, sustained focus turns those exact same traits into a severe functional liability. A diagnosis identifies a neurobiological profile that flourished in one era but is being penalized by the demands of another. Understanding this evolutionary history does not suggest ADHD is a modern-day superpower or a harmless personality quirk. The functional failure and daily exhaustion experienced by individuals in our current systems are real and debilitating. ADHD is clinically a disorder because it causes genuine suffering today. The mismatch between biology and environment creates a real impairment that requires attention. We can validate the evolutionary origins of these traits while still acknowledging that the modern suffering is real and deserves clinical support. This framework shifts the objective of clinical intervention. Medication and therapy serve as tools to bridge the gap, helping an ancestrally adapted brain function within a rigidly constructed modern world. Shifting away from the broken brain model removes the deep internalized stigma of a defective identity. The 4% persistence reflects a biological trait that served the species for millennia, now colliding with a social structure that has transformed faster than our biology can follow.